Northeast Ward is where Councilwoman Brophy currently holds office. And so by her running, she's leaving this office. It will be vacant. And there another candidate for
I believe it's just me.
Okay, so So Garth Hines could not make it. He had another engagement that he was engaged in and he couldn't get out of. So now we have Jared Cates, and he's the only candidate here at the time. There's one more running. I'm really not sure what her name was.
Her name was Mary Courtney.
Mary Courtney. And I'm assuming she couldn't make it here as well. So what we want to do is we want to hear from Jared for about 2 to 3 minutes of who he is, why he's running. Then we'll go into another Q&A. But for the sake of time, we're going to ask that you keep your responses to a minute or a minute and 30 seconds.
Oh shoot, if I talk more than a minute, I forget where I started. All right, y'all, my name is Jared Cates. I'm a 34-year-old, father of one. I've been in Nacogdoches since 2008. I got into politics through a very unorthodox avenue. I started out and still consider myself primarily as an activist, first and foremost. Be it racial equality, marriage equality, marijuana reform. I've taken a stand on a lot of very important issues that a lot of younger folks and older folks in the community alike agree on. This led to me stepping up and running for county commissioner last year. I was actually endorsed by Bernie Sanders' organization, Our Revolution, which I was very honored to receive that endorsement. Had a lot of success in a very conservative precinct for the County Commissioner's Court. I was honored for the support that I had. And, you know, most of y'all have probably heard from me last year. The issue that I spoke most about, and is still my primary focus and will remain my primary focus until we achieve some goals that I think we need to achieve for the people of Nacogdoches, is economic development. There is a conventional manner of working to achieve economic development, and then there's a different approach. And the approach that I would like to see utilized works more with local job creators, people that we know in the community like Ms. Shelley. There's no reason why our economic development principle should only focus on job creators who stand the potential of creating 500 or more jobs in the community. How many job creators in the community create more than 500 jobs? Other than SFA, can y'all think of 1, 2 pillar ropes? You know, how many job creators in the community employ less than 50 that you know of? If we applied the same level of attention to those smaller local job creators that we try to apply to these outside sources of jobs, trying to lure them into our community, I feel that we could have far better results, longer lasting results, and it would help create an environment that would allow for the students of SFA to have the resources in the community they would like, local jobs, entertainment, things like that, things that are sorely missing, I think you all would agree, in our community. There's a lot of fantastic things about our community that I want to show each and every one of you. We have some of the best local food, local musicians, local artists. We have fantastic authors and photographers, incredible pastors and members of the there's no reason for any of you to go back home when y'all graduate college. Y'all need to stay right here and help me make this a community that all of y'all will be happy to live in. Woohoo!
Thank you, Jared. So I'm going to go and get right into it. This was a question that was submitted via email, and so I'm going to read it verbatim. The city and police department claim that there is no racial profiling and therefore no need to keep record on that issue. Yet I seem to see a disproportionate number of black people being detained by police, sometimes even just while walking. What will you do, if elected, to address the appearance or the reality of racial profiling in Nacogdoches?
Well, if you don't keep the records, it's really easy to say that you have no records to verify that this is actually going on. I was in attendance at the first Black Lives Matter forum that the NAACP chapter hosted last semester. Professor Sandul had some excellent stats. Honestly, and no offense to our police officer that was in attendance, blew him out of the water because he did not have an answer when it came to questions like this. He had no clue because they haven't done the research. Professor Sandul had. And the numbers that he was able to produce that night do say that there is reason to suspect that there is racial profiling, or at the very least, if you're an African American in this community, you are far more likely to be encountered by the police and be arrested by the police. And it's also been statistically proven once you're in the criminal justice system, more likely than not, if you were charged with the same crime as I would get a lighter sentence. That's just the way it works. The numbers are out there. So for us to say that racial profiling isn't an issue so we don't keep records on it, that's not how it works. You keep records on it to show that there is no racial profiling, and you make damn sure that you have a police force that is as diverse as your community.
Okay. The last question that I have for you before we go to the audience, are you aware of any cities where police and the black community currently have a good relationship? If so, what are those cities doing that other cities like Nacogdoches can incorporate?
You know, honestly, I'm sure there are plenty of cities that have, fantastic relationships between law enforcement and the African American community. Off the top of my head, no, I can't tell you one. There's a big disconnect there. I personally feel like a lot of that stems from the disproportionate use of force in the war on drugs. You have, large groups of our community have been criminalized because the use of a particular plant. Somebody asked about marijuana earlier. When you have law enforcement enforcing these laws that take normal, everyday people, good, hardworking people who, choose to use a plant as their particular choice of intoxicant as opposed to the, conventionally acceptable alcohol that kills several thousand every year. It criminalizes them. And there's just no excuse for that. There's much better places for our police resources to go. And I think if we stop addressing things like that and using our police force to criminalize large groups of our population, that would help bring some of the trust back. But the big thing is community involvement. And I know that our law enforcement do some community involvement to a certain level. I'd like to see that increase, and honestly, I'd like to see the community warm up to it as well. It's a two-way street. There's a lot of animosity, but we've got to start somewhere.
Okay. Thank you, Jared, for that. Now we'll go with questions from the audience for Mr. Cates, who will be running or who is running in the Northeast Ward. Anybody have any questions for Jared?
Come on.
I have a question. I just want to thank you, Jared, for being the only representative from your district that came here tonight.
I'm sure everybody had other things that they couldn't break away from, but thank you.
Thank you for that.
They asked Shelley about the Harris County's new policy and if it was, something we could look forward to here. Is there anything you would recommend that can push us in that direction?
Well, the state legislature in 2007, I believe, put the ball in our court. They passed a law that said officers have the legal right to decide to offer you a citation. If you're stopped with misdemeanor possession charge, the arresting officer has the right to write you a citation and send you on your way. The local leadership, I've spoken with Sheriff Bridges personally on the issue, and I've also touched base with the chief a couple of years ago about it. Unless the jail is nearing capacity, they will not allow their officers to exercise that right. In my opinion, and I'm a regular dude, I forgot to tell you, I'm just a motorcycle mechanic. I'm not, a poli-sci major. I don't have extensive schooling. I just have a passion about what I feel is right. But I think that is something that needs to be done. I think with the local leadership and the police not allowing the officers to exercise their right, they're kind of standing in the way of their officers doing their job. If our legislature has deemed our police officers able to make that decision, how can our chief of police or our sheriff tell these officers they can't?
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions for Jared. Thank you, Jared. So lastly, we want to have the candidate